Hey, how's it going, guys? This is your boy Haze, and today we're going to be doing the Enhancement Pre-Patch Guide. Basically, just going to show you guys how to burst, rotation, and of course, talents. Let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. Starting off with talents, what do I like to use? Level 15, I like to use Wind Song. Basically, that's going to lash out your enemy, dealing nature damage, which enhances your weapons with winds, increasing your attack speed for 35% for 20 seconds. That's actually going to allow your other attack abilities that actually proc damage off your melee attacks to proc a lot more. And of course, we love Wind Fury, so obviously, I mean, that's going to be what we pick. The other thing people seem to like to use is Boulder Fist. Now, it basically causes your melee attack to generate 25 more Maelstrom, and it causes basically your attack to deal a little bit more damage and increase your critical strike chance by 5%, all your damage you deal by 5%, which is also a really good ability. But I like using Wind Song just because I like to get that enormous burst and just try to just blow people up, just blow them up. So both of those are good talents to use. Level 30, I like to use the Wind Rush Totem. Some people like to use Feral Lunge, which is like a charge, charges at the guy, hits him. And sometimes I like to use Rainfall if I'm using pillars and kiting around it a lot. It can be, quite a bit of healing over time if you're kiting, and of course using your wolf form, as later on we get honor talents, which allows our wolf form to heal us for percentage, which is really powerful. So it comes with the kiting. Now level 45, we can use Lightning Surge Totem, which as a melee, of course, we have to go into combat. Dropping a totem and stunning everybody is a safe way to get your burst up and hit somebody and a shaman. And of course, since I'm using Ascendance later on at level 100, it's really nice to proc burst and then get back and then burst at range without being in melee range, of course, and getting your face punched in, because shamans are kind of squishy. Alright, so level 60 talent, I'm going to be using Ancestral Swiftness, because of course 10% haste, we're throwing in more haste. This is kind of like a haste burst build I like to use. Some people like to use Hailstorm, and I haven't heard many people using Lightning Shield. I'm not sure about that one. Now, level 75 talent, we're going to be using Tempest for 2 charges of Storm Strikes. Now, Storm Strikes are going to be one of your major damaging abilities. And of course, since we're using Ascendance, it's obviously going to be when we pop cooldowns and put in major damage, which is enough damage to just completely knock somebody's health down. If they aren't paying attention, they're dead. They're dead in 2 hits. They're just dead. They're done. Alright, so the other thing, I believe some people like to use Powered Stormlash for a bit of spread damage for BGs and stuff. I haven't heard of many people using Overcharge, so that's okay. Level 90, we're using Crashing Storms, which causes Crash Lightning to cause a little damage on the ground and deal damage to everyone around the area, which of course just enhances our burst, because we're going to throw up everything. I'll show you soon how to do that when we go into the rotation, and it's just going to make it better. It's also going to be where you get a lot of your AoE damage from in Battlegrounds and stuff, is from Crash Lightning, or Crashing Storm, and of course using Crash Lightning. Some people like to use Sundering, of course. Shatters a line of earth in front of you with your main hand weapon, causing damage, and knocks enemies to the side, which can be a pretty good ability for peels and stuff, but it is on a 40-second cooldown, so it is kind of large. But you could use that with your cooldown ability sometimes during your Ascendance, probably after both of your Storm Strikes, to throw that in. But I like using Crashing Storm just to make that big burst altogether a lot better. And of course, the level 100 talent I'm going to be using is Ascendance. So let's go ahead and jump into rotation with this talent build right here, and I'll show you guys how to just blow somebody up and keep up a really good consistent rotation and not half bad AoE. Comes to an Enhancement Shaman in PvP, you gotta remember we're pretty squishy, so when we're going in with our basic DPS, we probably want to build up our Maelstrom so we have a bit of healing. So what I like to do is throw out my wolves and actually hit them with lightning, so your wolves go in and hit the target. Now you see how I'm building up Maelstrom at range. Okay, they're not focusing me, I'm going to come out. The first thing I'm doing is building up a bit of Maelstrom, of course, so we can get a bit of heals. That's the first thing we want to do. And once we have some Maelstrom, we're going to throw in our Flame Tongue, which is going to cause our basic attacks to get fire damage. We're also going to use our Wind Song so we hit faster, and we're going to use our Crash Lightning. Not necessarily in that order. I'd say probably Wind Song first so you get faster attacks, throw on your Flame Buff, and then throw on Crash Lightning. And once you get your Storm Strike procs, that's when you throw down Ascendance, your Berserking. Later on it becomes a 45-second cooldown, and you spam the living crap out of Wind Strike, just dealing a ton of burst damage. And of course, all your damaging abilities where you got up those proc damage, of course, are also dealing damage. So all that melee attack, all that haste you got dishing out is enhancing all those small abilities that you used between your damage. And of course, anytime you get Storm Strike procs, that's going to be your main source of damage. So you want to make sure you have up those Flame Tongue for the fire, and of course Wind Song for the haste, and of course Crash Lightning, and then Lava Lash if you have a chance, of course, because later on it actually puts out a little like whirling thingamajig on the target, which deals a little bit of damage, which is pretty cool looking, I'm not gonna lie. But that's going to be it for rotation and burst as of 7.0.3. Enhancement Shamans don't really have much downtime. They're a bit squishy, and they have an alright amount of healing if you can get LOS. It looks like a bit less than there is on the Legion beta, I'd have to say. But all in all, it's a pretty fun class. Yeah, that's going to be about it. I don't believe we need to go over too many macros as of current, since we don't really have PvP talents. If we had some PvP talents so we could take like Shamanism, which Bloodlust is 45-second cooldowns, we'd macro that in with I believe our Artifact ability, which increases haste even more. So like this build becomes even stronger with the Artifact weapon, of course. And this is basically how I blow people up in the videos that you guys seen in the past. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this pre-patch enhanced video guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. And leave a like if you did. And until next time, this was your boy Hazzed.